Good morning. Today I will talk about the high-speed rate development in China. My name is Stevens, and these are the topics during my presentation. The history of China development, the current status, the future plans, the controversial events, some statistic point comparison with other countries, and my experience of taking the high-speed rail. So to begin, we'll talk some history. Um, so after the opening of Japanese Shinkansen in 1964, China began to focus on his their own and high-speed rail, and at that time China railway mileage was only 52,000 kilometers without any high-speed lines. So in 1980s, Chinese railway officials began to planning the high-speed rail construction, but it was until the 1990s that China began to study the high-speed rail, and at that time the Beijing-Shanghai high-speed railway was in the stage of conception. So in that year, the China Ministry of Railway completed the project of the proposal for the high-speed rail. And on 2007, the CRH train was launched for the first time in China. And 3 years later, the speed that the train were taking was 350 kilometers per hour. It was the first line being built in a large area of the wet loss in the world. So here we can see how was the growth in terms of kilometers, and in 2011 they reached almost 8,500 kilometers, in 2012 9,300, and right now it's 40,000 kilometers and the total length. So right now, China high-speed railway network is already the biggest in the world. Like I mentioned, is 40,000 kilometers, and many provincial capital can be reached from Beijing within 8 hours. And if we talk about the future plans, China plans to extend the length of its high-speed railway network to 50,000 kilometers by the end of 2025. And if this become a reality, the high-speed rail of Spain, Japan, France, Germany, and Finland all together will be less than the 50,000 kilometers that is planned by China. And if we talk about the controversial event, China's ambition is to make the high-speed rail the mode of choice for domestic long-distance travel, but this new railway will have a much greater significance for example, China Communist Party high-speed railway is also a powerful tool for social cohesion, political influence, and the integration of disparate regions. This is also a topic that we talked about the last class, and critics often point that toward how much debt that is China accumulating due to the high-speed rail program, and is questioning that the necessity of the developing country having an extensive high-speed rail network, where a lot of his population cannot afford to pay the premium of the faster travel. But there is no doubt about how reliable, fast, and comfortable it is. This is an economic topic. About an environmental topic, China has emphasized that its desire to reduce the CO2 emission, and if we compare the high-speed rail that use multiple sources of energy, for example, the ability to use renewable energy, while others transportation like automobile or the plane air travel only release heavily on the petroleum. And also about the macroeconomic versus the microeconomic topic, like for example, the high-speed rail construction create jobs and drive demand for the construction, steel and cement industry during the economic down run. But if we take, take into the consideration of how huge are the debts that China is taking for the program, there are some concern about the profitability of the project. And I compare China high-speed railway with Japan, Korea, and Russia. For example, in Japan, high-speed railway and the network is extensive and is already reached nearly 35% of the country population, while in Korea they already cover almost 45% of the population, and in Russia is very low. They only have one line, but in China they just serve nearly 3 billion of their population, and they are increasing 10% each year. But of course, we know that the population in China is 1.402 billion, so the percentage is still very low. And to compare some total investment, the China High-Speed Rail program in 2008 reached about 49 billion US dollar. In 2009, 88, and to build more than 25,000 kilometers, they already spent more than 300 billions. And in Japan, the high-speed rail cost about 80 millions, and they cover from a government loan from the World Bank. But to be fair, we have to also mention that China and Japan gross domestic product. The China is 14.72 trillions versus Japan have 5.05 trillions US dollar. And if I talk about my experience of taking the high-speed railway in Taiwan, I will say that it's very convenient since I can just buy the ticket all by my phones. And of course, the transportation is very fast. For me, it was very comfortable. And if I take the consideration of the opportunity cost between the bus of the or the train, I think it's not very expensive, and sometimes they offer some student discount. Thank you for listening to me.